makeup friends. It's been a while since I actually just sat down and played with makeup on camera, so that's what we're going to do today. Let's get into this. As always, I want to start off by welcoming you back to the channel, or if you're new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and today I'm going to be playing around with some new to me items in my collection. These aren't necessarily brand new, just hit the market, but they're new to me, so I thought I'd share them with you in case you are curious about them. Here we go. Hello! All right, so few housekeeping things before we dive into this. Number one, I cannot find the batteries to replace for this little set of lips back here, and the lights are very close to going off. If they just shut off, there's nothing I can do about it. Also, yes, I am a woman in my 40s, and also, yes, I am wearing like a 3-year-old's headband and dinosaur earrings that are biting my ears. Both make me happy. We're just gonna go with them. Last thing, I'm only going to be showing items that are new to my collection, so there will be some items that I will apply or have already applied, as the case is with my foundation and primer, but if I've already talked about them on the channel, I'm not going to include them in here, so there we have it. There's still plenty of newer stuff to talk about, such as this concealer here. This one is the brand new one from Huda Beauty. It's the Faux Filter Concealer, and I have it in the shade Nougat 2.5G. And I have been wearing the hell out of this since I got it. Granted, that's only been about a week, but fast favorite over here. Really, really enjoying it. I am going to be smart and only put it on one side just so that you can really see what the coverage is, and then I'll go ahead and finish the other side off camera. We're trying to work smart here, not work hard. I've just come off of like an hour and a half, well no, it was more than that, about 2.5 hours of editing my Oden's eye video. And it's a very short video, but the amount of time I spent editing it, oh my goodness. So going into this video, I'm trying to make my life a little bit easier down the road when it comes time to piecing it all together. At any rate, there, the concealer blends so nicely. The coverage, beautiful. The finish, beautiful. It wears fantastically throughout the day. It doesn't get all dried out and crepey looking under my eyes. I do not need that happening underneath there. I am just really, really impressed with this concealer. I also enjoyed the Overachiever Concealer that she first came out with. This has been on sale for quite some time on the Sephora website, so I think that the Faux Filter is going to be replacing the Overachiever. Not a bad move in my opinion. Not that this one was bad, I actually really did like this one, but the doe foot is so much easier to deal with than this little metal thing. And frankly, I think this one just wears more nicely than this one did. The longevity is there, and again, the coverage, spot on. I've been setting this concealer with the Huda Beauty Easy Bake setting powder. This one is in Pound Cake, and I actually really like the combo of the two. I am not convinced I'm gonna go out and buy the full size of this. It's obviously just like a sample, but I've been using it for ages because a little goes a long way. I have so many other powders. If I run out, I might, or if they came out with like a mini size, which would be bigger than this, but not as big as the full size, I might consider getting that one. I think this one is a little bit too mattifying for all over my face. I do like to have a bit of glow remain on my skin, but under my eyes, I think it just does such a great job of setting the concealer into place. Doesn't look cakey under the eyes or anything of that sort. And I find that it just melds everything into one nice cohesive unit. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I'm just suffice it to say I like the powder for under my eyes. It's a little overkill for all of my face. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, now that I've rambled and put that on, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this eye, and then we'll come back for some cheek products. Be right back. Okay, we've got the second eye done and bronzer applied. Quickly, I'll just tell you the products that I've used that you haven't seen, just in case you're curious about them. So for primer, I used the Hollywood Flawless filter from Charlotte Tilbury. I have it in the shade Light. And then for foundation, I used this one here from Merit. And this is their complexion stick, which I have in the shade Linen. Both of these items are currently in my project pan, so I'm trying to get as much use out of them as possible. And then for bronzer, I used this guy here from Nude Sticks, and this is in the shade Bondi Bay. So now let's go in with blush, and I picked up one of the new ones from YSL. This is the new Lip and Cheek Balmy Tint, and I have it in the shade New Pinch. I'm quite tempted to pick up, I don't know what it's called, but the red one, because I've actually really been enjoying this. It's got like a really nice texture to it. It's not too runny, but it's not too thick. I really like the texture of it. I can't say that it's like moussey. It's a little bit more solid than a mousse, but it still blends out really nicely. So it looks like I put a ton on, and I very well might have. But like I said, it does blend out really nicely. So I'm just gonna use a rougher brush. This one is the 04. And just sort of stipple that and blend it into place. If you watched, oh gosh, which video was it? It was like items that aren't empty but are still going in the garbage, and then I talked about 2 that I'm trying to save just because they cost so dang much. And I know that that's like a bit of a fallacy there, but regardless, I was talking about the Armani liquid blush. I thought about busting that one out for this video, but then I figured we'd be spending about 8 minutes just watching me apply and blend, apply and blend, apply and blend. This one, you can see it. You can see it already there. While I thought that that might have been a little bit too much that I applied, it wasn't. It blends out, and yet it still shows up on the skin. It's got a very natural finish to it. There's nothing sticky about it. There's no glitter in there or anything like that. It's just such a nice, nice product. Apparently you can use it on your lips as well. I haven't done that yet. If you have, let me know how it went for you down below. I intend only to use it as a cheek product, but if you're in a pinch and you want something that can do multiple things, you could even put this on your eyelids and then just have this whole like monochromatic look going on. Well, that was unexpected and exciting. I just set my face with powder using the LYS setting powder, and as I was doing so, I hit pan. I wasn't expecting that. That is very exciting. So, progress being made over here. All right, time for highlighter. So I'm going to use one of the new ones from Oden's Eye, and this is the Solmane Moonlight Feel Highlighter in the shade H103 Warm Sunshine. And I'm going to apply that with this brush here from Sigma. This is the F06 Powder Sweep brush. So there we have the highlighter. There's nothing glittery in this one. I think it's really pretty, really high impact, but I still want to meld all of the cheek products together using a finishing powder. For that, I'm going to use this one here from Guerlain. So I do have a set of the meteorites in my project pan, but this one is a little bit more on the bronzy side. So these are the gold pearls. They came out holiday of 2021. I haven't used them very much, so I don't want to tip it too far forward or they'll go flying out. But I do find that it just produces a very subtle bronzy look to the skin, nothing too overpowering. So I'm just going to go ahead and rub this brush here from Il Makiage. This is actually their foundation blending brush, but I love it to use with a finishing powder just because it's nice and dense and really buffs everything in nicely. So as I'm applying, you can see it's not really like deepening up my skin or anything of that sort. It's just helping to meld all of those other products all together, particularly the highlighter, because I don't really like just having like a harsh strip of it. I like it to glow but look like it's coming from within, not just sitting on top. And these meteorites, or basically any finishing powder, really help to achieve that. All right, now I'm gonna do my brows before I move on to the eyes. So I'm gonna use this one here from Kosas. This is the Air Brow Gel in dark brown. I haven't made up my mind fully on it. It hasn't become like a fast love, but nor do I strongly dislike it. It's kind of middle of the road for me. I like it a lot more than I like the Merit one. I just find that one doesn't have enough hold. I like it more than the Sigma one. That one has too much hold. I kind of feel like Goldilocks and the brow gels over here, but This one does have a good amount of hold to it. I don't know why I'm not like in love with it. I can't really put my finger on it. I think it just comes down to the fact that it reminds me very much of the e.l.f. Wow Brow, and you can get that for like $6, and this one was closer to $30 if I'm correct off the top of my head. So I just don't see the value in spending more for a product that you can get that works just as well for far less. So at any rate, brows are done. So I'm going to prime my eyes and then we will come in and do the eyeshadow. All right, eyes are all primed. I used the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Eye Primer, and then I set it with a little bit of the cream shade from this palette here. So this is what I'm gonna be using on my eyes today. This is the Dear Mom palette from Jaclyn Hill. Again, I'm on the fence about it. Again, not an instant love. Here we have the shade selection here. I really liked the shades when I saw the promo pictures of it. I thought it reminded me very much of the Makeup by Mario and ABH palette. That's like the palette that got away for me. I still wish that I had bought it back in the day, but here we are now. I thought that this might be a relatively close, not dupe, but similar enough to give the same sort of vibes. But when I opened it up and looked at it, it just kind of seems ho-hum, if you will. Like there's really nothing super exciting about it. I just expected more given who it's from. Although, given the past histories with their brand, should I have? I don't know. I just expected a bit more like, that's my technical term, something. The shimmers in here are really just kind of there, like they're not super impactful at all. At any rate, let's throw it on my eyes and play around with it. I've only worn it a couple of times, so I can't really give like super in-depth reviews on how the mattes perform and all that kind of stuff. So let's just go ahead and throw some of this on my eyes. I'm gonna keep my eyes fairly simplistic today, simply because I know which lipstick I'm going in with. Normally I match the lipstick to the eye look and just let the eyeshadow take over. But today we're talking new items and I have a new lip product to share with you. So I'm gonna start off with this shade right here, which is called what is it? So Ucky? So Ucky. Okay, I would have thought it was supposed to say so lucky, but okay, maybe Ucky is a word I'm just not familiar with. All right, let's just use that as a transition shade. Let's see, it's not really showing up on my skin. Like there's a little bit of it. Maybe that's the whole point, is for building gradients and whatnot, but I'm gonna build it up just a little bit more. All right, I will say, it does take a while for me to build this shade up on my skin tone, which is not deep. But the upside to that is that if I just wanted to do a really, really simplistic, almost like a no makeup kind of look, this will help to give a bit of definition to my lids without like overtaking everything else. So there's the pro in there, but I do want to build that up. So I'm just going to reach in with another brush. And which shade am I going to go with? Let's go Small Town, this gray shade over here. I do kind of want to do a more cool toned look, so gray fits the bill. Let's see how deep it is. I haven't used this particular shade yet. I will say it all is blending nicely, so I don't really have any complaints there. Like the pigment isn't just shifting across as I move my brush, and it's not super patchy or anything of that sort. So I don't find it necessarily frustrating. I'm just not overwhelmed by the color selection, and I feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect between how this actually looks in real life versus how the pictures looked. It's kind of understandable. I'm sure most brands are going to, you know, amp up the saturation and all that kind of stuff and try to give their products the absolute best light possible, but then consumers go and spend however much money this palette cost me. I can't remember now, but I feel like it was north of 60 Canadian with shipping involved. And you end up with somewhat frustrated consumers. So that's where I'm at. I don't hate the palette, I really don't, but I just don't see myself reaching for it like over and over and over again. It's not gonna become like top drawer status, if you know what I mean. Okay, that has helped to deepen things up, certainly. But now we need even more along the outer corners and under the lower lash line. So for that, I am going to go into this shade right here, which is called TC. The other one was Small Town. I might have to dip into the black as well, we'll see. That one's showing up nicely. I thought it might be like a bit too green as an undertone, but that's not the case. I'm pleased to see that. All right, I might go in with something a little bit darker after I put on the shimmer shadows. We'll see, I'll assess in a moment. But for now, I'm gonna go in with this shade called Thankful, which is this somewhat shimmery silver over here. I'm gonna pick it up on a flat shader brush. Again, I haven't used this shade before, so I'm just gonna go in. You know what? It actually looks a lot better on the brush than it does in the pan. Here's hoping. I'm gonna go in with it dry first. Okay, this one. This is way better than the other shimmers I've tried in this palette. Oh, you deceptive little minx. I thought you were going to be boring, and you are not. Regardless, let's try it with some setting spray just to see how far we can push it. I will put it on this side. Okay, well, thank you. Thankful, you're making me look like an absolute jackass saying that these shimmers are boring. The silver one's not. That is actually really pretty. I do think I need to put something a little bit deeper on the outside, but there are shades for that. I take back what I said. Okay, well, that's okay. I am willing to admit when I was wrong on something, and I was definitely wrong about this shadow. I'm very pleased with this. Very pleased indeed. Okay, but I do need to build up the outside, I think. So to do that, I don't want to go into the full black. I don't want this to become like way too stark. So I'm going to go in with this shade here called Buddy. So I'm just going to use that on the very outer portion of my lid here, and then I will blend that all together. I will say the pigmentation on this shade is really great. Well, I'm glad I didn't do just a first impressions video on this, because the first look that I did with this palette, I was looking for how to return it, because I just was so underwhelmed. But this silver shade, it's given me something to think about. I haven't used all the shimmers in here, so hopefully there's some more that perform like this and not like the green one did, because the green one was not it. All right, I'm going to just pop in an inner corner shade then, and for that I'm going to use, what is this called? Meat and Potatoes, this shade right up here. Sweep that under the brow bone as well, and then dilute it a little bit. I'm in love with that silver. Didn't expect it, but I am, and I'm very happy about that. Okay, I'm gonna line my eyes off camera using the Pretty Easy liner from Clinique, or whatever they're calling them now. It's not Pretty Easy. High Impact Easy Liquid Liner. Why is it 5 words long? Pretty Easy liner worked just fine. Anyways, I'm gonna use that. Just gonna line the lash line, not bothering with wings or anything of that sort, so I will be right back and we will do mascara together. All right, mascara. I have a sample here from Ilia, and try as I might, I cannot read that sticker on the bottom. That is not good for the ego nor the eyesight, so I will just look it up and stick the name on the bottom of the screen. It's got basically your standard traditional mascara wand, actual bristles, not rubber. It's got a little bit of an hourglass shape, but nothing gimmicky or weird about it, which I appreciate. I don't think I've actually used this mascara yet, so first impressions. Let's see how we get on with this one. So far, so good. There's no clumping that I see. My lashes are nice and separated, and it is lifting them up. I don't know if you can see the difference. This one here, like when I look this way, I don't see my lashes at all, but in this eye, I do, so it is lifting the curl. I wouldn't say that it's like super volumizing, but it appears to be lengthening and lifting, so that is good, and definitely not clumping. That would be a hard pass for me, so initial impression, I like it. I don't know that it's like amazing yet, but initial impression just on application is nice. She'll see how it wears. Now I can't really do, actually I can't do a wear test today because I'm gonna go swimming in a couple of hours. And I will be washing this off in advance. However, if you have worn this one, please let us know in the comments what your experiences have been, if it flakes, if it transfers, if it smudges, if it holds up beautifully. Let us know down below, but I really do like what it's doing for my lashes. Like I said, everything is really like lifted and nicely separated. So I really like the way that it's looking. I'm gonna go ahead and do this one, and then we're gonna come back, finish up with lips, and then we're done. All right, lips. We've got Fenty Beauty here. This is one of their new Poutsicle Lip Stains, and I have it in the shade My Type. I do like that they put the color on the caps, that if you bought the other shade colors, you could easily see them when you store them. There are a couple other shades that I'd like to pick up because I really do like this product, but they're all sold out because everybody else likes them too. Anyways, here we go. Kind of feels like a really thin lip gloss when it applies. Like it's not oily, but it's not as thick as a traditional lip gloss would be. It's very slippy on the lips, and yet the staining power is fantastic on this. So even after the product sort of wears away off your lips, you're still left with this nice like popsicle stain kind of look, and I think it's just beautiful. I didn't use any lip liner. It doesn't feather, doesn't bleed, anything like that. Doesn't like transfer down onto my teeth. I think it's just a really, really nice product. There's nothing sticky in it, and it doesn't have any like weird chemical taste. I find a lot of times stains do for whatever reason. I don't know if it's a certain ingredient that's in there, but they taste really weird. This, I don't get any of that. So there we have it. Not necessarily the eye-lip combo that I had intended, but it's the one that we ended up with. So here we are. Okay, if I had to pick two favorites out of the products that I featured today, definitely the concealer from Huda, and it's a toss-up. How do I choose? I didn't show that many products, so how do I choose between these two? The YSL blush and the stain from Fenty Beauty. I might give the edge to this guy. Let's do it that way. Okay, we'll go 1, 2, 3. There's my top 3 for the products that I used today. In terms of like least favorite, I don't really have a least favorite. I guess the eyebrow gel, simply because it doesn't knock my socks off. It doesn't really do anything amazing for me. That's about it. This would have been a big old disappointment, except it came in clutch today and really saved itself. So happy with the purchase. I don't think it's a must-have. It's a fairly easily dupable palette, but if you had your eyes on it, or if you are a Jaclyn fan and you want to support her by purchasing a palette, I don't think you can really go wrong with it. Just be aware that there is some inconsistency in terms of the performance of the shimmers. The mattes I don't think are a problem, just some of the shimmers are a little less exciting than the others, but If you're okay with that, I think you'll like the palette. Okay, with all of that said, I am going to wrap the video up here. Let me know what is something that you have purchased recently that you're really liking, what is something that you're really disliking. I love hearing both, so let me know down in the comments. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye. I will see you in my next video, and until then, just remember to be a decent human being. Bye for now.